everybody. Get that cable out of the way. Hello. Sorry, I think it's been a little quiet over here trying to figure out what's next and get all my ducks in a row. So that's what I've been doing. I don't know what you've been doing. Dobry wieczór. Dobry dzień. Come over here, Bosch. My dog's coming to lay down underneath my feet. It's very nice of him. So play around with some new things. A while back I had started this project where I wanted to illustrate a Clark Ashton Smith story called The White Worm, but I've been busy since moving here, where I'm at now. So that kind of got in the way, so I thought I'd warm up, try to get back to that by doing some studies. Kind of where I was, what I want to do. So, then I'm also just testing out being over on the other live streaming platforms on DLive and Twitch. I think I've finally figured out how not to crash everything to make it work okay. Things don't get overheated. So, I'm running that too, so if you want to head over to any of those, just look up myartprofessor on Twitch or on DLive or YouTube, and get a top-down view of what I'm working on. See how that goes. So I want to get back to this little project. I've actually had an illustration I started, I think, last summer. I got put on hold. See if I can't finish that. Maybe bring that in tonight. See how that goes. So got some stuff in 3D that I want to do in ZBrush. I need to get some more visual clarity on it again. To let go for so long. forgotten many parts of it. So, but I guess that's the nature of the beast, right? Maybe this will be the thing I think I'm going to work on for a while. Kind of play around in different media with it. Try and keep it around this one subject for a while, at the very least. Connection is still remaining solid over on the streaming side on the computer. That's always good to see. I would just come in and set some scenes, just play around with some of the ideas that I have. Nobody over on the other streams yet. Should probably put my microphone over here. Right. I thought I'd come on here and just doodle up a page of stuff. See how that affects things, I guess. Supposedly these markers are, well, the pens I was just using are marker safe. And you probably have to wait a little bit, but alright, let's do another thing like that. Yeah, it seems like it's coming along okay. It's kind of my big test. Hello. So crates. Filling up some pages with some doodles. For this illustration project I started a long time ago, but because of the way things kept moving around, got put off on hold for a long time. I was thinking, hey, what am I doing? Maybe I could go back to that. I don't know. I drew this and that and this. Playing around with some new materials, these pens and markers. I guess you could ask everybody else, what do they think they might have missed? Hello. Testing out broadcasting over on Twitch, YouTube, and DLive. Looks like I'm fully connected over there, so. But something I was messing with a long time ago, but never get it to work without like crashing my internet or my computer. I think I've, with all the teaching online I've been doing, more and more this last year. I think I've finally got it all figured out. Yeah, so mostly I'm just gonna sit down and try and fill up a page with some stuff. Stockholm, huh? Been to the airport in Stockholm a long time ago. It's my only connection to Stockholm, though, to Sweden. That and the, the whole IKEA thing. And I'm trying to remember all the ideas that I kind of had for this project. So I started a whole bunch of things, and then I moved here, and then COVID happened. Not sure what you mean by that. Something about friend drawing the minx of One Piece? I don't know what that is. It's, as we say, it's Greek to me. Gee, somebody knew that expression. Working on getting back to a personal project illustrating a Clark Ashton Smith short story called The White Worm. But I wanted to set it in space. So his is like northern time period of what do they call the what's the term for that again? It's like the time period of like a Conan the Barbarian world. Oh, is that Greek? But so the opening part of the story, there's this wizard living in this fishing village up north somewhere, along the Arctic Circle. And there's strange things happening out on the ocean. And then one day a ship lands on the coast, and everybody aboard the ship is frozen solid, and they can't thaw them out. They're all dead, but they can't even get them unfrozen. That's how frozen they were. And then later on, the entire village freezes, and this iceberg shows up. And the only person alive is this wizard, and so he goes out to see what's going on. And there's this big iceberg crawls up there, and he meets these people that are traveling along, and it turns out it's this iceberg, and there's this ancient worm-like creature that freezes things. Anyway, they travel around with this worm that's woken up from a deep sleep, and it goes around killing all these people, freezing them and taking them. And then the question, of course, arises, why did he keep these people alive? and it turns out eventually that as they disappear one by one, they realize they're all being eaten by this worm, until it's just this one wizard left, and he's able to kill the worm, but it melts. Kind of all this goo comes out of it. The spirits that were inside were still being tormented as it got bigger and bigger, and drowns in this fluid. So it's a terrible story in terms of the things that happen in it, but thought it would make for some interesting visuals. But I wanted to kind of set it in space, along with, paying attention to that sea aspect of it. So I've looked up diving suits and space suits and worms. I actually started building the worm in 3D in ZBrush, because I want to do a combo of different things with this project, which is a great way of learning things, is trying to combine different things together. So not just, a lot of times people argue that it's a good idea to learn things in isolation, and it can be, but I also think it's also a good idea to give things more context. In fact, that's something I'm doing with a lot of my university teaching, is not just teaching people drawing, but trying to give it more of an actual application. So they're not just learning figure drawing, because I love figure drawing just for figure drawing. And I think there's a lot of people that do, but there's also people that have got things that they'd rather do than just that, or they want to know what they're going to use it for, and it's understandable. And so I'm trying to see more of that. So in terms of all the the lessons I've made for my university students this year, that's been one of the big changes, is trying to give more context. So I just teach perspective all by itself. I think it's fine, but then making them use it for something, it's a whole other animal. So that's been where a lot of my attention has been over the last year. I've done some the art challenges and things, but so anyway, I kind of want to get back to this project, and just kind of doing up a doodle page to help me out with that. I also gave my dog a bath, so he's a little bit stressed out. Does not like the bath. Doesn't know that word either, so I can say it and he doesn't freak out. Like a lot of owners will teach their dog that word because they think it's funny. Dogs just think it's weird. Noreo pabandit nauja naujus kaip sakyt, nei plunksnius, bet markerus aš neseniai pakirpėjau. Norėjau pabandyt kaip bus su jais. Ir apelsinė spalva, ne taip, ne apelsinė. Oranževinis spalva, ne taip tamsa, kaip kitos spalvos. Gal turiu nedaug geltoną. But anyway, so with this narrative, there's ships, there's fishing in space. There's giant asteroids because the monster rides on a giant glacier. So there's lots of opportunities for different things, different kinds of characters. So I'm thinking more about the fishermen. Right now I'm thinking about the spacesuits. The worm also kind of gives them a way to live around him without dying from the cold. And so I forgot another important part of the story where the wizard, his house actually gets teleported to the... Am I taking up too much space here, buddy? His house gets teleported onto the glacier where the white worm lives. So yeah, tangerine, space dreams. I got some blue. I guess I could pull that out. I wanted to use a color that wasn't too dark. I don't have a light blue. Yeah, so I decided to come on and do this for a bit today. An hour or so. Maybe start doing this more on the regular. So I've got a half-finished illustration. Somebody just let out a big groan. Namely my dog. Looks like he's a little bit cold. I'm gonna just blanket. There we go. Blanketed up the dog. Yeah, so just quietly doing that this afternoon. Sunny outside. I may go outside and do some painting. So, a few spacemen. What else do we got in my little reference pack here that I might pull from? See some wormy stuff. Get a little closer up. What would these fishermen be like? Kind of imagine them, some of the textures and things, decorations involving, the fish that they catch. I just scatter some stuff around here. Clouds are always enjoyable. They're very abstract. Everybody sell their NFTs. Or they don't stop moving is one of the challenges, right? I should move that where I can see it just a little bit better. And you too, I need to move over here where I can see what's going on there. There we go. Everybody's nice and layered up where I can see them. Babylon 5, huh? I haven't thought about. I never really watched that show, but I haven't thought about that one in a long time. That's a deep cut. Babylon 5. So I got these little ships right here. So I had some cool ideas for like a little fishing trawler things where they would basically have like a front part and they put out a big net behind them to bring in the fish. I just remember being on, I think, around the same time that Deep Space Nine was a big thing with Star Trek. The darker space station show. Captain Sisko. I liked Captain Sisko. Poor connection. It's no good. What was the shapeshifter's name? The Spy Taylor. The Dr. Bashir turned out to be a genetically modified human at some point. Illegally modified. And the Ferengi kid. The main Ferengi, Quark, I rewatched that series a while back. I don't know, a year or two ago. Binged the whole thing. And I realized that the hero of the show was Quark. The capitalist Ferengi guy, conniving Ferengi, because he was the only one that was honest. Everyone else was like playing little power games all the time, and he was always just telling you what he wanted and what he was doing and why he was doing it. And then he was the only one that was willing to take risks a lot of times when it actually meant him losing something. I was like, wait, this guy's the hero of the show. Even though everyone was always making fun of him, he was always willing to step up when necessary to help out, even though everyone was so antagonistic. One of the one of the earlier episodes I remember quite distinctly was kind of showing the Federation doing this really mean thing. So there was this moon near the planet that the base is there to watch over, and they need to use the moon for some kind of power station to power the planet, the main planet. So they need to kick everybody off of this moon that's been living there for, their whole lives, force them off of their homes so that they can use this planet, destroy its atmosphere and all the plant life and animal life on it, so they can provide more energy for the main planet, which I'm pretty sure they can probably provide plenty of energy for somehow, some other way. But they go up there and they force this guy off his farm. All in the name of progress. So I thought that was interesting, kind of seeing that in a different light. Yeah, the kind of actually I like the practical effects of the late 70s, early to mid 80s, and a lot of stuff, a lot more than I like a lot of the computer stuff today. I used to watch the original series on TV as a kid. And then I remember how excited everybody was when the Next Generation came on. And that was all practical effects for the most part for most of its run. I think there's something to be said for those ship designs back then, because I think having to make them into real things, it forced them to really pay attention and invest in what they were doing. Where you look at the newer Star Trek shows, and everything just feels like rushed and ugly and harsh. Whereas before, they had to spend a lot of time building a real physical model that they had to physically interact with, and everything's all just pixels. And there's certainly a place for it, but I think a lot gets lost when you don't have that level of need for care. Then they'd use that prop, that ship, for years. So we got the yellow marker out. Do that with knocking over everything over. An intermediate tone here. And there's a place for CGI. I do computer stuff, not so much 3D stuff as I'd like to be able to do, but I think there's definitely something lost. I was surprised in the newer Blade Runner movie how much of that was practical effects. Even stuff that you would think would just be easy to do with the computer, like there were buildings or sets that seemed like it'd be a lot easier to do if it was computer, but they actually built practical stuff. And I think it really adds to the feeling of verisimilitude to the experience. The actors and the directors, they have to interact with these real spaces, so it becomes a lot less abstract. But that's just me. Of course, that can be tricky too. They made a big deal out of a lot of the new Star Wars movies. Using a lot of practical effects and building real ships and robots and costumes and all that stuff. And those movies weren't very good. So there's that aspect as well. Trying to think about how these guys would look if they were just suddenly frozen. These fishermen on that ship. So maybe something bursts open. Maybe It's kind of frozen around them. Yeah, it's yeah, well, they just the worm freezes the ship that then floats into port. So I want to kind of have this scene where there's these guys all frozen on their small ship. Stuck. The idea with writers like Clark Ashton Smith or his more famous colleague, H.P. Lovecraft, is this idea of cosmic terror. So something so horrible that it's beyond our ability to deal with it, to comprehend it, to survive it, combat it, anything. It's just so beyond anything. Hello. I'm just doing some blue sky ideating in here. Everybody heard of Clark Ashton Smith? First came across him as a student when I was trying to figure out a project for my senior year related to concept art and things like that. And so I had a instructor who recommended The 7 Giazes by Clark Ashton Smith. And I guess a Giaz is another word for a curse. These guys, if you read their stories, they have a love for the thesaurus. So they like to find words and find kind of different different variations of those words. So instead of saying curses, you wanted to say jiazzes or spells, curse things. And so you'll see that in a lot of the books. They use kind of a lot of these big words that probably unnecessary, but they make it feel more strange and foreign. Привет. Zaisev. Nobody on the other streams, but we'll keep going anyway with those just because it seems to be working okay, which is good to see. I also wanted to spend a little more time, doing character design. So it's not something I've done as much of, in spite of being like a figure drawing type guy. Just try to create these moments of horror and terror. I like the idea of this suit kind of popping open. Hello. Hello. Clark Ashton Smith. It's enjoy if you're looking for just looking for a way to come up with ideas that are unusual. Looking up these cosmic horror guys is always entertaining. Hello, YouTube. Let's see. Today we're doing marker drawing. Yeah, I'm actually broadcasting over there right now, over on YouTube, in addition to Instagram. If you look up myartprofessor, all one word, up on YouTube, you'll find my channel. I haven't been over there very much, live streaming or anything in a long time, just because I got frustrated with the streaming stuff and how it would slow down my computer and crash DLive, or not DLive, OBS, which is a software used for live streaming. And so I just kind of gave up on it. And I was looking at it again, just because I've been having such great success using OBS with Zoom, that I should revisit it. And so I spent a couple hours last night trying to figure everything out. I think I did figure it all out. Like, one thing was I wanted to combine all the different live streams I do, all the different places I could leave live stream, into a single place, and so I got that figured out again. The main thing was getting all the chat into one place, which it looks like I've got figured out now. So but I don't post over like there with like regular time lapses or whatever. Most of the video stuff I do is put over on my teaching site. Hoping to get back to making content this week, just trying to get warmed up. Oh, thanks for the badge, I appreciate that. So, but again, I hadn't bothered with it just because it was so frustrating. I couldn't figure out why everything was slowing down, and I didn't think I was doing anything too complicated. Turned out there were some settings I needed to understand better, so I went over there and figured that out. Art Mural, I think you're the fourth person. Oh, look, there's Socrates over on the YouTube. I don't know if that's a better view or not, but yeah, the advantage over on YouTube is with the OBS thing is I can switch, you know, what I'm showing pretty easy. I can go from my camera up above, I can show what's on my desktop, I can do all that stuff. And with Instagram, I have to, you know, move the whole thing around. But otherwise, I've got the YouTube stuff set up so I can be over here sketching, or move over to the computer, or do some other things as well. I'd even put up my dog cam. I thought about it. He's not up for it at the moment, though. He's all wrapped up in his blanket after his bath. warming up and drying off. He does not find. Oh, okay. So yeah, I'm not sure what the how it looks over here. Maybe I should play with those settings now that things are running much faster. Let's see if I go to the camera properties. What do I have for? Now I've got max resolution coming out of the camera. I can zoom in. Let's try that. And maybe move the camera back to where I'm actually working. Scoot it back a little bit. Work down here anyway. Ooh, shaky. I should put it on wheels or something. Like that. Alright, how about some fish monsters to finish off with? Not sure if that's any better or not. Probably these, the good thing I guess with these phones, you know, they're so easy to set up and use. Well, I zoomed in a bit. Hello, Art Mural over on YouTube. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I zoomed in just to see how that would work to where I'm actually working at down here at the base. As far as I can tell, it's still broadcasting. I mean, if I was drawing sideways, it would be different. I started vertical because I was focusing more on the Instagram aspect ratio. But I guess I could try horizontal next time. Yeah, well, there's the different purposes. The the creators created for them. Like they with the Instagram one is supposed to be portable everywhere you go. And so we hold our phones vertically most of the time, not horizontally. That's just how they fit in our hand. And half time if I'm watching a YouTube video on my phone, I'll hold it up vertically, and I get a smaller screen, but it just feels more natural that way for whatever reason. Like if I'm broadcasting, drawing on my computer, I think YouTube works better for that, just because it's all going to be horizontal. Wish you could play with the rotating it to landscape more easily in Instagram, because the text still will be sideways if you do that, even though the image will be the right orientation. Raining outside? Maybe. So, yeah, we'll see. So I'm just happy I figured out how to make it work without slowing down on my computer. Like I couldn't use any applications, and then it would freeze the actual streaming software. So it was really, really annoying. Alright, let's see. I think this is an important phase when you're trying to kind of put together an ideas for projects, is just to kind of take different parts of them and sketch them out. You can think in terms of specific moments or compositions or elements. The other thing too that talks about in the story is how things would get mutated. So they started catching strange looking fish. So they would look more healthy and normal, and then all of a sudden they would start looking wrong. Hyperborea, that's the word I was trying to think of. The Conan the Barbarian world, Hyperborea. So it's this, it's kind of like how Middle Earth is a fake Earth. It's the same kind of history. It's fake history, but it's about a time before before history, basically. And it's very savage. There's lots of magic and strange monsters. Everybody loves the Lovecraft stuff. Even though Lovecraft has fallen out of favor with his publishers, because it turned out he was not always very nice to people who were not the same as him, but he was from a little bit different time period, so I think it's weird to put those kinds of expectations on people who are older. I mean, he did die, I think, in the 1990s or late 80s, something like that, but I think it's weird to expect people to have correct attitudes based off of today's standards and get really upset about it when they had different ones in the past, because that's almost all of human history, is people not liking each other for various reasons. Because we have to get rid of a whole lot of people before we'd get to any perfect people in history, much less today. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure how things work. You know, there's going to be some variation, I think. So, but yeah, I think for the traditional media, I think the camera stuff is more integrated in here. I'll have to go back and look and see how it looks on YouTube. Let's go scoot this down. I'll work up here. I'll move this back. I'll fill out this top area. I mean, I could have gone with a gray marker, but I just thought it'd be more fun to do the warm marker, these orange markers. Right there, I think. Hello. Now they talk about this iceberg that he's riding on being full of debris from old victims, so things that have collected up in his iceberg. So I imagine, you know, there being some kind of asteroid where there's stuff sticking out of it and stuck inside of it, and I think it adds a lot to the visual potential. Did do some iPad sketches of it a long time ago, but kind of wanted a fresh take and go back and look at some of those drawings, see what I could use from those. Then come up with some character sketches for some of the main ones, more finished, maybe some narrative beats being painted or drawn. I actually had a whole production list I was going to do with this. Oh, okay. Yeah, so the auto zoom on it, I need. There's a way of. It's weird because when I put it in video format, it's it kind of zooms in automatically. So I need to play around with that more with the camera. There's just more stuff, and so like when I put my hand in front, it automatically zooms in on the hand. I guess I could set up the manual zoom. It's supposed to be, you know, like in the regular camera, you can do kind of a zoom once and it'll stay on there, but when you put it into the movie format, it doesn't allow for that anymore. So it's kind of a back and forth. I think maybe I'll see what happens if I switch it over to regular shooting. Over to automatic. Leave it there, see what happens. So sometimes that acts a little strange when I would do that, but let's see if that fixes. So I know a lot of like Instagram, or not Instagram, a lot of YouTube artists rather, they will use just like a regular webcam. But in playing around with that, like the resolution was just really, really bad. That looks a little crisper. I think I can darken it down a little bit. but they didn't exactly cover this subject in college. Ezra does a good job with a lot of things. And they are introducing some new things interesting, like the badges, like the one that I got from Art Miral. You can donate directly here. Which is great. They've got a new shop thing that I thought about seeing if I could put some of my Procreate and other brushes in there. So, hello. There's a big advantage to it. But, hello. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll have to play around with the YouTube thing. I'm just glad it works now. It should also get better, I think, with time, too. But, might help if there's some more light, too. On here, which I could do, turn on some more lights in here. Somebody got a noisy car. Something, I don't know what it is. I'm not a big car person, but wish they wouldn't do that in my neighborhood. I don't want to hear it. Popus. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. So I don't want to just do doodles. I want to actually do finished stuff. But I could see doing a few days of doodles. I actually did a post that I did a long time ago. People would like it was basically a doodle post where I created a bunch of abstract shapes and then started filling them in with stuff. It was actually for this project. You have to go back a couple years for it though. It's a little sad about missing March of Robots, but beginning of the month I was so busy just trying to get the rest of my students' lessons together. There's possibilities of some aliens in this because there's these other groups of people that are on this iceberg with this guy, including a group that they can't talk, or at least not the languages that they speak. I think in the story that you kind of get the impression that they are Eskimos, like from Alaska or northern Canada. But I thought it'd be fun to make them kind of into aliens, or I think we have one group be like aliens, one group be more kind of cyborgs, and then you have your wizard who's more human, but from the fishing area, but different from them because he wanted to be smarter than them. So lots of possibilities I think to come out of that, and this could be a good long-term project where I'm maybe not trying to finish something every time, but working toward a whole bunch of different things. There we go, maybe up in this little corner. And then be done. Sometimes I'm just playing around with the abstract shapes. I don't even know what this is going to be. Almost done with my Loomis project. I've got probably another 20 pages or so left in the book to copy from. And looks like a lot of them are larger drawings, so we'll be able to do more of them, have them fit on single pages, so that's been progressing rather nicely. Then I think I'll do his book on drawing heads and hands. Maybe Bridgman after that, something like that. Alright, but I think that's pretty good for today. So thanks everybody that came in, and we'll talk to you another time. Today is the 29th. And thanks for coming in over on the YouTube side.